to My Dead Dragon. I'm your host, Katherine Larange, and I am so thrilled to be here today with Stacey Robinson. Stacey and I have known each other for over 15 years. We actually worked together at a university many moons ago, and we reconnected a couple years ago, and Stacey's been actually in some of my coaching programs. And we were talking the other day, and she shared that for the first time in her life, she feels like it's okay to put herself first. And she even has ideas about what that looks like. And so as we were talking, I was just so inspired to bring her on as a guest to share her story with all of you, and to really hear kind of what that process has been like. So Stacey, welcome to My Dead Dragon. I'm super excited you're here, and kind of tell me like, where are you at? How did you get there? What did that look like? What did you learn? What do you wish you'd known? All of the things. Tell me all the things.
All the things. Oh my God. Well, I am, first of all, just so honored and grateful that you have me on your podcast. This is so incredible. And congratulations, by the way, top 10 podcasts in the world. Is it in the
Whoop,
world,
whoop,
whole globe?
whoop, 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 whoop.
No big
10%.
deal.
Top
No big
10%.
deal.
This
Top
is what it looks
10%.
like. This is what it looks like.
Yes, I have. I think the beginning, the becoming of who I am and who I want to be. So as you kind of mentioned at the start, I've been going through some of your programs for a year now. It's taken a year, so it's been some work, and I've been pretty darn stubborn up until now.
Up until now.
Trying to break through these. But yeah, it all of a sudden, it just kind of, everything seems to just be coming together recently. And I think there's a few factors. Number one, your incredible guidance has helped me through there. I turned 50 this year. 50. We will cut that part out. But yeah, so I think there's a lot that just kind of comes with that number too, at least for me. My story quickly in a nutshell, I was a very young mom, and so lived for my kids and always still had love her to pieces, but my mom's voice in my head about what I should do and that sort of thing. Of course, she means well, and I love her, but just living that I've been kind of living for everybody else. And I don't think I noticed it until I decided to stop, right? Until I realized that I wanted to take that step and live for me. And where that really shone through is in my work. And for any of those that are in Katherine's program, she works with these 4 quadrants of your life, and one of them is your vocation, to have that right vocation and work. And working through that, realized what I'm doing currently is not bringing me joy and is not what I love. So the theme of everything we do with you, Katherine, is what would you love? And that question I've never asked myself. I've never asked myself up until this past year. And there has been a whole bunch of, what would I love? And things that I never dared to think were possible. And so I'm jumping out on a limb, and I am becoming the woman who would love to live this life. And so yeah, we had talked about my job and my discontent there, and talking to a bunch of colleagues that I work with. I think there's a lot of us kind of going through this right now, and especially through this pandemic, things have been a little kind of off kilter, we'll say. And it's really put a lot of things into perspective. How do you want to live your life? And part of that is work. And so yeah, I've made the very kind of not scary now. Now I'm all excited, but decision to leave my job and go back to doing what I love, which is working with clients. I do a bunch of digital marketing media, that sort of thing. So working with clients, and in that, I also have discovered, like I said, these amazing colleagues that I'm currently still working with that are wanting to do the same thing, wanting to get out
Mm.
and not necessarily the digital stuff, but do what they love. And what it's possible to have a job that you enjoy, that you jump out of bed and are excited to do, and serve your people. And so, yeah, a big part of what I am doing for this new year coming is I'm going to mentor women coming out of corporate that want to um, dive into their own zones of genius and do what
Mm.
they love, and show them that, oh my god, it's fun, and yeah, it's possible.
It's possible.
It's
So I
possible.
love, oh my God, Stacey, I love all of that. And I have to say, like, I just freaking love how alive you have come through this process. And just how much, we were talking the other day, how much, synchronicities are happening, all of the magic in the universe, all of the like manifestation. It's like serving it up on a silver platter because you got clear, you decided, you took action, right? And it's like, okay, here you go. The universe has just been waiting for you to take that step. And so I want to go back to one of the things that you shared where, you were a young mom, obviously like loving your kids, doing the best you could, and not even really knowing that you were in this pattern of maybe not living for other people, but certainly putting all of other people's needs ahead of your own, and that you didn't even know you were doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know until you kind of you wake up, or you don't know until you know what's possible, right?
Mm,
And that came possible when doing my vision work with you.
mm,
What's my dream? What's my vision,
mm,
right? And but no, you're right. I didn't know, and and the paradigms definitely came up through this
mm,
past year and all this work to remind me that yes, I was in a pattern, and pretty stuck. But no, I was determined. There's more to it, more that I would love. And as I would take these baby steps and kind of become, aligned with my vision, and as you said, the things started happening. The universe was listening and ready to serve. And as you know, I would call you and say, "Oh my God, guess what just happened now?" And it was always kind of a sense of awe and
mm,
amazement that I was just thinking about this. This was just on, I don't know, my vision board. This is in my vision and this is happening. And then we'd laugh and say, well, of course it is. So, of course. But it's still so fun when it happens. And I'm still learning and I'm still kind of becoming. But
mm.
mostly I'm still trusting that process because I do still get stuck, right?
Yeah.
And as you up until now, and but as you know, it's I will be in flow and in alignment, and things are happening, like the craziest things are lining up and coming to me, and and then I'll kind of crash for a minute and just go, whoa,
Mm,
whoa, what
mm.
was all that? But I'm learning, hang on a second, that's okay, this is part of learning the flow, and I'm able to quicker get back into that
Yeah.
that alignment quickly,
Yeah. Much more quickly, more
much more
quicklier.
quickly. But
So,
yeah, it's just being clear in my vision, what
mm,
I want for my life. What would I
yeah.
love? Right? What would I love? And yeah, I've got some cool things coming, and I
Yeah, you
trust they're
do.
coming.
Yeah, you do. So what was it like for you the first time you heard that question? What would I love? Like what kind of
Oh,
happened for you when you heard that and you started to work with that?
It's funny looking back now because I see it and understand it so differently now.
Mhm.
But back then it was tough. What do you mean? What would
Mm.
I love? Oh, I'd love to, have some money in the bank. Sure. Yeah. I'd love to, all the typical things, right? I'd
Yeah.
love to, I think at that time I had already sold my car because we were living in the Caribbean. So come back, still didn't have a car. Love to have a car,
Yeah.
um, it, but I was always stuck on the how. Well, how are you going to
Mm.
do that? I still, at that
Mm.
point, we had just come back. I wasn't working yet, so it was, I just didn't get it. But
Mm.
uh, working, working with you through that and kind of calibrating that vision, I'm like, okay. And it was okay, here was the moment. I know the moment. The moment, the moment
The
was
moment.
when you read it back to me.
Mm.
So I put it together, I sent it to
Mm.
you. You read it back to me. I had my eyes closed. I just listened. And it was, oh my God, it was like in that moment, it was like I was hearing somebody else's amazing life. And I'm like, oh no, this is my life. This is
Yeah.
all the things I would love. And it included all the quadrants in which we work,
Mhm.
right? My love and relationships, my family, like it touched on all of it. And if I were to have heard that, well, even weeks sooner or, months
Mm.
sooner, I would have thought, yeah, okay, whatever. How
Yeah.
is that even going to be possible? How am
Yeah.
I going to have a lakeshore home or some waterfront property, right? And it's happening. So
It's happening, right?
it's
It's like,
happening.
"Oh, that was a
So
thing. I made that happen last year."
right. So it's been, I think, to sum it up, it's been so fun.
Mm.
And I think that is what I'm taking with me going forward in my life, is that this is supposed to be fun,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes. Yeah. Life is supposed to be fun.
Life is supposed to be
Life
fun.
is supposed to be
And
fun.
I went off on a tangent. I get, but coming back to realizing living life for me, what what I've learned from that, it doesn't have to be a this or that. It can be
Mm.
a both and, right? So I can
Mm.
live for my life for me and what I would love, and seek out my longings and
Yeah.
walk away from my discontents. But I can also still be there for everybody else. And in fact,
Yeah.
I can do so in a more impactful and meaningful way
Mm.
because my cuppeth is fulleth. So
Yeah.
I definitely I am better for it, for
Mm.
all the people I love and people that yeah.
Yeah. I so appreciate that you bring that up, Stacey, right? Because I think a common misconception can be, or a fear even that people can have is that, oh, if I put myself first, it means I'm, kind of like dropping everything else. And that's actually not what that means. Putting yourself first is really about what would I love, right? And I know for you, and you just shared that, part of that for you is certain types of family dynamics and relationships and connections, and so you're not dropping all of those things, but you're giving to them in a different way, right? you're
That's right.
you're filling your own cup first. And when we do that, the way that we give to other people feels so much more genuine. It feels so much more aligned. It feels like any kind of resentment or,
I was going to say a
bitter.
lot less resentful.
Okay. We could be real. We could be real. Mm,
Yeah, and it's so fun too to watch those around me and their response to,
yeah.
who it is I am becoming. Um, as you know, I keep calling her my lady, but my lady,
Hmm.
who it is that I am becoming, and oh yeah, it's great.
How does life feel for you right now?
it feels light.
Mm.
And I think for the first time in a long, long time, it feels easy, if that makes sense. It
Mhm.
just feels easy. And my kind of calibration for anything going forward, no matter what it is, well, what would I love?
Mm.
Would I love to do that? Would I love to go there? Would I love to have this? Would I love this to be a thing? It's that simple. No, I wouldn't love it. All right. Nope.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on it. Don't
Oh yeah, it's
get
a
me wrong.
process. It's a process for
Don't get me
sure.
wrong. But
Yeah.
it's becoming easier for
Yeah.
sure.
And easier as you go
Yeah.
along. Yeah. And I wanted to speak to that idea of the work and the rigor involved in this process, right? Because it can feel easy, and absolutely the more aligned that you get with it, and you kind of talked about this where you'd experience success, you'd experience some results, and then there'd be like a bit of a freak out because it's like it's outside of your normal. And so for people listening, really knowing that as you start to relax into, lean into the question, what would I love, as you start to take action, as you start to see some results, right there is, you're actually starting to work with your nervous system in terms of calibrating it to that new level of success or happiness. You are by virtue of leaning into that, you're going to elicit the paradigms, those operating systems that kind of want you to stay in the comfort zone. And so there actually is a process, there's some work to calibrating at a new normal. And that's why we'll see people have roller coaster results, because they're not necessarily learning how to calibrate to that new level of happiness, joy, love, fulfillment, success, all of the good things.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And I've definitely had my share of the freakouts.
Yeah.
And and it's always so strange because when I kind of come out of that part,
Mm.
I'm like, oh my Lord, that's, they're becoming not necessarily less frequent, but definitely in shorter duration.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
able to kind of get calibrated again. But yeah, they happen, and to me, it's just a matter of just trusting the process. Trust that
Mm.
that this is right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so looking back at your journey, what would you say were some of kind of the bigger challenges for you, and or some of the key bits? Like if you could kind of go back to that young mom version of yourself, if you could give her a nugget, what would that be?
Oh, so many. Um, I wish that I could instill in my young self, and I'm trying to do with my daughters, is believe in yourself and
Mm,
believe that you are so worthy and so loved,
mm.
and that you deserve some like a like a postcard. You deserve to live the life you love. It's
Yeah.
that simple,
Yeah.
and to go after it, and
Yeah.
steadfast, and
Yeah.
yeah, live
Yeah.
live for you.
Yeah, it's possible. And
Oh, it's
you
so
deserve
possible.
it. You deserve it, right? We're
Yeah,
all worthy of it by virtue of our birthright. It's our birthright being on this planet.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so, one of the things, Stacey, that you really leaned into, and I love this, is on, so anybody who's in the Catalyst community knows that Sunday night we do Time Machine, and that's where we really connect to the vision. We feel ourselves, see ourselves, hear ourselves living in that life. And so, if you're comfortable, can you share a little bit about that process for you and how you got your partner on board with that, because that was, that was kind of a like, okay, how's he gonna respond to this? What's he gonna
Right?
think about this?
Yes, this is going to be a little woo woo for him, is what I
Yeah,
thought, right?
yeah,
And we spend the summers in the Okanagan, and so coming and going, we've got ourselves a good 4 hour drive each way.
yeah.
And so we would just, I would kind of talk to him a little bit like, well, our future lives, right? But you talk about it, for those that don't know, as though it is, we're in
Yeah.
it, and all of the experiences. So we would talk as though like we'd make up like our day, and we're doing this right now, and oh, we should make sure that we go here, or do all the feels. It turned into something that was so fun for him
Hmm.
that he was the one getting me on it. And if I was feeling um, a little out of whack and just kind of, the
Yeah.
things aren't working out and whatever, he's the one that would start doing that and start, well, hey, remember, we're walking down the beach right now. We're doing our thing. We're living our
Yeah.
life. And so he would start doing it. And so that's been really cool. And I've noticed that too in some of that language that we use in your program, that I guess I've been using with him without really realizing, because I'm hearing it back now, which
Yeah.
is really cool. So
Mm.
yeah, and I think it's helpful too. I think it's accelerating our 3 year plan that
Yeah.
we put together, you and I, and that this is what you had read back to me, in three
Yeah.
years from now, right? I think it's happening a lot quicker than that. In fact, some of the things have already happened. So that's what's been really exciting.
Yeah. And I love too that initially there was some, maybe not concern, but you're kind of like, oh, is he really going to be into this? And I remember you described him to me as this like tough biker guy, right? So you're like, is he going to be on board with this? And you relaxed into it, you leaned into it, and he surprised you.
He totally surprised me. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's a big burly biker,
Hmm.
working in Teamster guy,
Yeah.
and he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah.
Our Like I said, our Sunday night time machine, we kind of do whenever, and it's usually
Yeah.
on those long drives up. But oh my God, we have so much fun with it. Yeah,
Mm. And how has your relationship shifted as a result of your journey?
it has greatly shifted.
Mm.
Um, Shifted greatly. uh,
Great.
it's it's good because I've been able to stand in my own truth,
Mm.
and in who I am and who I'm becoming and who I want to be. And I believe just living authentically and living as you would love, you can't help but kind of those around you get on board,
Mm.
and so it's brought us closer. Um, and we still have our stuff, but I think
Yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah.
But
Everybody does. Most people
right,
do. Yeah.
but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deeper, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Just it's you've used the term partner in believing, right? Which is just to
Mm-hmm.
have, not necessarily your romantic partner, but just
Mm-hmm.
people that just kind of believe in you, believe in what you're doing, and
Mm.
he's always been my partner in believing in me, but really, I think stepping in and leaning into this work as well by
Mm.
proxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been a good ride.
Mm. And so can you share with me the whole Caribbean kind of, dream dying, dream rekindling? Because that's like a
Dream
super
dying,
cool
yeah.
story. Yeah.
Oh, so Yes, we back in 20, I want to say 14, made the crazy out of the blue decision to move to the Caribbean. Specifically, we moved to the British Virgin Islands. And Mark found a job down there, and we said, well, let's go. What's the worst thing that can happen? We come back home, right?
And I'm laughing because
Catherine's
I know
laughing
where
because
this
she
is
knows.
going.
She knows what the worst thing is. So we spent 3 incredible years down there, and ended up our dream is, I'll say was, because at that time, was to eventually get a boat where we could do our own charters down there, and just show people a good time. We loved when our friends and family would come and visit, and it was fantastic. So July of 2017, we bought our dream boat, and it was fabulous. And Mark just worked his tail off to get this thing just to perfection. It was wonderful. So we had a couple months living on this boat. We went through the US Virgin Islands, and oh my God, we had dolphins coming up to the boat. Like it was the dream. When I tell you it was the dream, it's the dream. And we would jump off the boat in first thing in the morning. I was shaving my legs off the back of the boat. It was incredible with turtles around, and it was fantastic.
Wow.
And then in September of 2017, the biggest hurricane came whipping through, and devastated not only our island, others as well, but absolutely decimated the island. And of course, our boat and every other boat that was in the vicinity ended up in pieces up on the beach. And so, yeah, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just we keep calling it a category 10 hurricane coming through. So, but one of the things looking back that we kind of laugh about, the time that we spent down there during those few years, Mark kept saying, because there were, there's hurricane season every year. And because we were such a tiny little speck of an island, the odds are we weren't going to get a direct hit. And Mark would just be so disappointed. He says, I just want to experience a hurricane while we're down here. And we just thought, the naive Canadians, oh yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Well, be careful what you wish for, because that was an experience. So that forced us home. And so that was, we spent 2018 back at home, kind of trying to get our lives back together and get working, and that to head back down. The plan was always to go back down. So, but the recovery for the island was, and of course, understandably, it was very slow. So Mark went down, I want to say, I think September of 2018. And then I followed about 2 months later, we went down. So we were down there for another 6 months. And the economy, tourism, because what we were doing down there depended heavily on tourism. And the tourism just hadn't come back yet. The infrastructure still was not back to where they could support this kind of industry. So we were sent home again. So we came home back in 2019, and we thought, okay, well, let's give it another try. We'll dig our heels in here, because we keep having this vision that this is where we belong. And so we both got ourselves, again, some great jobs here. And then COVID hit. And so that has put things off. Where are we now? 2021. So that put things on hold for a couple of years. However, I believe for all the right reasons, because it brought me to your program. It got me doing some work that I would never have done
Mm.
some self work, and
Mhm.
yeah, getting clear on my vision. And if we had just gone right back down, would have looked a lot differently than what it is I want that to look like now. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm so excited. And I, kind of say, oh, the wins and losses, or the, whatever, about having to come back home. And I think it was just, that was meant to be, absolutely
Yeah.
meant to be, to get me where I am right now.
Mm. And I love how you are approaching it with that perspective, right? Because when life brings us content and sometimes it's stuff that we would not prefer, and we can't control it. Category 10 hurricane, can't control that.
Right, yeah, we tried.
Yeah, you tried. But we can choose how to show up to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about your business now, what it is that you're really going to be offering and serving people with, and then how people can connect with you.
What I would love is to show women that it is possible to have your own business, have it be fun,
Mm.
go figure, doing what it is that you love to do. And so I'm putting together a program right now that will open up in the new year, um, specifically for women kind of coming out of corporate that are just wanting to
Mm.
leave that 9 to 5, which I think we're seeing almost globally right now. With this
Mhm.
past 2 years,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people have kind of reevaluated life and what's important. And there's a few of us now that, with our current jobs, are having to now go back into the office and back to, normality. And I don't want that. I don't want normal. I don't want that
Yeah.
normal. I have a new normal now. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm working with clients on, so I'm working on that piece, and also working with fantastic clients on doing web design, doing social media marketing,
Mm.
digital marketing, all of
Oh,
all of the things. So, tech setup.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, to make it easy.
To make it easy. That's the theme, right? Let's
Yeah.
just do what you love. And for any kind of potential clients, if also understanding what you don't love, and if what you don't
Mhm.
love is, setting up some client management software or whatever, leave it to someone who does. And open up the space for yourself to do uh, what brings you joy, and
Mm.
to then serve your own clients better.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And really, aligning with what it is that you love. Noticing the parts, well, I don't love that, right? I don't love
Mhm.
that. So I want to find someone who does love that part of it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and it's all out there. That's what's fabulous. That's, we're all different. We all have our expertise, our zones of genius, our
Yeah.
loves, right? So
Yeah.
let's all connect.
Love that. Love that. And so if you could share a message for people listening, for women listening, from your heart to theirs, what would you want them to know?
Mm. Love yourself.
Mm.
Learn to love yourself. How's that?
Mm.
Um, this is what this work has shown me. Um, because once you do learn to truly love yourself, oh my goodness, the rest so falls into place.
Mm.
And I know for many that is hard, or what do you mean?
What?
But
How do I do that?
love myself. Um, it's kind of, I think, the simplest way I can say that. And it's doing the work, right?
Mm.
It's not easy, but I cannot explain how rewarding it is.
Mm.
Um, I've had my share of meltdowns going
Mhm.
through this past year. But all so very worth it.
Mm.
And a little piece of advice too, each of those meltdowns is just another way of telling you it's a level up. You're leveling
Yeah.
up. So,
Yeah.
it's not a knockdown. So I see them all very differently now too.
Yeah.
So I would also say to people to trust in that part of it, because it's
Mm.
not all rainbows and unicorns. It is kind of meltdowns in my case, and that sort of
Mhm.
thing. But I trust now those are the level ups, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I know I'm going to get through this, and when I do,
Yeah.
I'll celebrate it.
Yeah. And it's, there's such a difference. So I love that. Thank you for that, Stacey. And there's such a difference between the meltdown where we're not on kind of an intentional journey, but it's where things are just so overwhelming we don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And a meltdown that's actually to help dissolve some of the existing structures, because you've got to like dissolve that stuff. You got to
Yep.
feel the feelings, you got to release the emotions. It's part of that growth. It's part of that growth. And it's
Yes.
such a
And once you
difference.
kind of, yes, and once you trust that,
Hmm.
then yeah, it's gravy.
Yeah.
And then they don't kill you.
Right? It's not like, oh my God, am I getting depressed? Am I, it's like something happening. It's like,
Right?
no, no, no. Right. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I have so enjoyed our conversation, and also am just so proud of you and the work that you have done, right? Because you're the only one who can do the work for you. And it's a
Well,
choice. It's a choice. So I'm celebrating you.
well, thank you. And this is going to be our big love fest, because right back, right back at you. Sure, I'm doing the work, but I didn't know that this work was even possible. So I didn't
Mm,
even know it was a thing. And
mm,
even had I known it was a thing, without your guidance and support and non-judgment,
mm.
um, I would not be here. So I'm
Aw.
so grateful,
Aw.
so grateful for you, my friend.
Oh, all the love, all the love. Well, thank you again so much, Stacey.
My
And
pleasure.
also thank you to all of you who are listening to the podcast, those of you who send me messages. I love hearing from you. It just fills my heart. And please let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover, or a guest you'd love me to bring in, or more that you'd like me to talk about or share about. And you can support the podcast by giving it a rating, a review on your podcast channel, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And there's also a free Facebook group for the podcast to talk about each episode. So have a wonderful, wonderful day whenever you're listening to this. And until next time.